Bienvenido! Welcome one and all to Mexico. We will have our 20th race of our F1 season. Only 3 races to go, and the championship is certainly shaping up. Our top 3 drivers are all within 8 points of each other. Still, of course, with an outside shot, we have Let's Get Fiscal and Vapor Trench, both 38 points behind the lead of Big Baguette, who currently heads our leaderboard with 237 points. Currently Greeny, CFC is in second, just 4 points behind with 233 points through these first 20 races. 19 races I should say. This is race number 20. Vapor Cobalt with 229 points, that's good for third place, only 8 points behind. And then the aforementioned Let's Get Fiscal and Vapor Trench, both with 199 points. So really 5 drivers still with a shot at the Cup. Definitely some other interesting drivers to watch here as we see Trulson back in 6th with 107 points, our only other triple-digit driver. He's had luck here in Mexico, has Trulson. Let's see if we have Trulson with us here today. We might be missing this one, unfortunately. No, he's here. Trulson's here. So last year we did see... we did see Trulson finish in 3rd here in Mexico last year. So definitely a driver to watch for sure. How you doing, Justice? Always good to see you. Welcome back. It's been a while, my friend. I don't feel like we've seen you in a lot of races here recently, but it's definitely good to have you back. Justice, of course, currently in 10th in the table with 64 points. Took a little bit of a hiatus, maybe a bit of a mental health break, but he's back at it here in Mexico. I believe I also saw that he raced in the USA last week. Unfortunately, that was not streamed, but excited nonetheless to have Justice back here in Bette Jalle League Racing. We'll be going today at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, which is the auto way here in Mexico City, Mexico. Wonderful to have you along. This beautiful stadium fits about 100,000 due to COVID guidelines. We are only at about a half population, so about 55,000 fans here in the stands ready to see this race as our drivers will get started in qualifying here momentarily. A little bit more about this track. Coming in just a little over 4 kilometers, 4.3 kilometers. It has it's a very interesting track for sure. Definitely plenty of interesting straights here. Let's see what else can I say about it. 17 turns. Lap time should be anywhere from a minute 15 to a minute 30. We are in dry conditions, so should get some pretty solid qualifying times here. Let's see who we've got out on the track. They're qualifying correctly. Hop on with Crunchy Trees, who was the first driver out of the gate. They're in the Red Bull. 15 drivers here in Mexico City. And as he finishes his outlap, I'll take you on a turn-by-turn of this beautiful track here in Mexico City. We do have 3 DRS zones for a track that's just over 4 kilometers. That's a lot of time heavy on the DRS, so it should be a very quick, fast race. Lots of room to pass here in Mexico City. So certainly should be in for some very intriguing storylines. As you see, Crunchy Trees wrapping up his outlap. And we'll take you through the turn-by-turn here. As he heads into our home straight here. This is pretty straight going here all the way up until turn 1, which is about a 90-degree turn to the right. So after coming off of the brakes of turn 1, they'll hit the gas around turn 2, a little bit of a waggle, a little tap of the brakes there. Turn 3, back to the right. And this takes us to our first DRS zone, DRS zone 1. So a bit of a straight here, turn 4 is going to be a heavy left turn, back into turn 5, which is a heavier right turn, into turn 6, which is the heaviest right turn yet of those 3. Definitely a tricky portion of the track. A bit of a straight there into turn 7. Turn 8, you barely feel. Turn 9, back to the left. Also, not too much on the brakes there. Turn 10 is going to be a very quick right into a quick left of turn 11, and this will be our second DRS zone, which brings us up to turn 12, which is going to be a hard right turn. Got to be very careful not to exceed there. Into turn 13, which is another hard left. 14, a little bit of a felt right turn. 15, back to the left. 16, right here, kind of a looping right turn, which takes us to our final turn. Turn 17, passing the pits on your right and across the start-finish line. So we'll see what kind of time Crunchy with 1 minute and 15 seconds, about a second behind Trulson, who currently has our pole position here, as we also see KJ come across just a little over 1 minute 15. Justice, welcome back, Justice, currently on pole with 1 minute 14. Let's take a look at Vapor Cobalt, one of our racers who will challenge for the Cup over the next few weeks, as we see Vapor Cobalt handling Section 2 expertly. As he heads off the track just a little bit, that'll invalidate that. Let's head back up to Greeny, who has a purple Sector 1 into Sector 2 here. Let's see if Greeny can avoid invalidated lap time as well. We just saw Big Baguette go up for pole, coming in at a little under minute 14. We see this, Greeny, check that, getting the most out of both sides of the track here, as he'll swing by that driver. Careful there, Greeny, excellent job. And he's turned in a purple Sector 2, so let's see if he can keep it together here in Sector 3. Should be looking good for a pole position. Should be fast enough to get by Big Baguette, assuming he can handle the Sector 3 as expertly as he did Sectors 1 and 2 as he comes across the final couple of turns. It looks like he'll be free and in the clear, and he'll give us a very solid lap time, under 1 minute 14 seconds, at 1 minute 13 and about 94 hundredths of a second. So excellent job from Greeny to earn pole. Let's head on down to, let's see, we got Lesty, my good buddy Lesty the Twig, on his outlap. We'll keep it here to see how he does. Yeah, I saw that there, Crunchy Trees. Looks like you found a wall going around the second time. Might want to get that looked at, as you'll have to maintain that minute 15 and about 64 hundredths of a second lap time. As hopefully you got all of that out of the way here. We won't see that in the race proper. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. Meanwhile, Leslie the Twig finishing up his outlap. Let's see what Leslie the Twig can do here, as we'll just let you kind of enjoy seeing what Leslie the Twig sees in the cockpit, I should say. As you see him handling this home straight expertly, coming up on the first few turns. Of course, turns 1, 2, and 3 come in very quick succession, but that takes us into our second DRS zone. So let's see what Leslie the Twig has in store as he handles those first 3 turns, hits this back straight. Lots of passing, I would imagine, on this particular straight during the race proper, as he comes up to turns 4 and 5. Handles both of those pretty well, runs a little long, but he should be okay. Let's see, no, he did invalidate, unfortunately, there. So Leslie the Twig will have to have another go at it, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, we have both Vapor Cobalt and Vapor Trench out on some outlaps. Currently, Greeny at pole, Big Baguette currently in second. Of course, those two drivers very much looking like they will challenge all the way to the end for this Cup, currently in first and second, respectively, in the Cup standings. Greeny, last week in the USA, earned his 7th win of the season. Absolutely absurd, having won just under half of the races so far to this point in the season. Very, very impressive indeed, as it looks like Vapor Trench might be having some connection issues. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, as you see his kind of flicking all over the place. And let's see how he does on his lap, as it still looks like Vapor Trench having some connection issues here. Hopefully it doesn't plague him too much going into the race. About 10 minutes left here in qualifying. Greeny still holding up the pole with Big Baguette in second. Justice
His lap time good for third. Trulson currently in fourth, and Gourlay rounding out our top 5 through this point in qualifying. I have a feeling that might change once we do get qualifying times from this man, Vapor Trench, as well as Vapor Cobalt, both very capable of turning in impressive lap times. As you see Vapor Trench setting a purple Sector 1, having a better Sector 1 than Greeny. That'll certainly set him up for success. As you see him heading into the second sector, and once again, just big-time internet issues for him as he's skipping all over the place. Definitely hope that this gets itself sorted, because that's going to play some real havoc both for him and the other gentleman in this race. It's kind of trippy to watch, to be honest with you. As you see this skip all over the place, and comes across the final couple of turns. Let's see what this lap time will be good for. He'll come across, and just a smidge under a minute 16, definitely not the lap time he wanted. Vapor Cobalt invalidates once again, heading into the pits. He'll try to have enough time for one more go at it. What Gourlay has to offer as he takes another crack at a qualifying lap. Might have cost himself about a quarter of a second there coming out of turns. First few turns there, turn 3 that was. It looks like he's not going to really be sending it on this particular lap, as he's having a lot of trouble navigating through these turns here. And he will allow, let's see, that was Leslie the Twig to swing on by on his outlap. Go with Leslie the Twig, yet another attempt to put up a solid qualifying time, as we see Trulson's actually passed Big Baguette, hopping into second place. As I mentioned before, Trulson having good success at this track last year. He'll look to have a bit of a repeat performance to see if he can find his way into the top 3 here in Mexico City. So Leslie the Twig navigates the first 3 turns into our first DRS zone. Definitely not the best exit out of turn 5 there for Leslie the Twig. Much better exit out of turn 6. Let's see if he can still turn in a solid result. At this point, it's not looking like he's going to break the top 10, but I still think that he's got a good shot at perhaps coming in around 11 or 12. Last few turns, turns 12, 13, 14, 15, into 16, and finally turn 17 here. He'll come across, yeah, about 9th. Not bad, Leslie the Twig, as he'll start, it looks like, around P9, assuming that that will be his last qualifying lap. Meanwhile, we have Vapor Cobalt still out on his outlap. Hopefully he can avoid invalidating, as starting to... The clock is really starting to take some time away. 6 minutes left in this qualifying. Maybe a chance for one more if this one doesn't go well, but we'll certainly be rooting for Vapor Cobalt to turn in a time that we know he's very capable of. So he cuts a bit of a corner there on turn 1. Cost him too much as long as he does not do that again. So he expertly navigates turns 4, 5, and now 6. Looking pretty solid, keeping it on the track, tires touching the red there. Certainly using every inch of this track. Wow, expert work there through the little waggle to turn 7, 8, 9, and 10 and 11. As we see him enter into Sector 3. Maybe not quite as good of a lap time as he would have had on that first attempt where he set that purple Sector 1, but it still should be good enough for a top 3 or 4 spot, I would imagine. Let's see. No, unfortunately, just jumps him up to P11 behind Leslie the Twig and Josh Smith in this. He might go straight into another hot lap here. We'll stay with him. So we see Crunchy Trees chiming in that hopefully he'll be able to avoid the drama up at the top. While that might be true, Crunchy Trees, I do also have to warn you that you starting in the back means that if somebody else, for example, starts a bit of a kerfuffle, you'll really have to be on your toes to get around it. Have our first fan in the chat, one Raven Fleming, I'm sure here to see how her beau Big Baguette does today as we see Vapor Cobalt validate his qualifying lap. Raven, just to inform you, currently we have Big Baguette in P5 as we see Vapor Trench jump all the way up to P4. So Big Baguette currently in first in the league standings with 237 points. Will start around 5th place, I would imagine, unless he tries to get one more lap in. Definitely a battle for the ages with only 3 races left. We still have 3 drivers that are within 8 points of each other at the top. So it should be a lot of fun conclusion here. Good to see you, Lesty. Excellent qualifying lap from you as we'll see you start in 10th. Maybe the trickiest position as that 10th place driver will have to start on the same tire as he qualified on. So no hard or medium strat, but certainly puts Lesty the Twig in prime position to earn some points for his Renault driving team. Speaking of the teams, we currently have Ferrari out in first place. That's drivers Greeny and Josh Smithness with 318 points. Close behind with 302 though, that's only 16 points of a gap, is Team Williams Racing. That's our newest driver, Vapor Cobalt, along with Nicholas Volkman, who unfortunately is not able to join us today. So it looks like Cobalt's going to have to do it himself today. Hopped on with Gourlay, trying to get one more lap in here before the end of qualifying, about 2 minutes out. Greeny still looks like he's going to start on the pole. We did see KJ turn in an excellent lap for second, Trulson's third, Vapor Trench jumped up to fourth. That dropped Big Baguette down to 5th. Justice also dropped a few spots down to 6th. Let's get Fiscal currently in 7th. Might also try to get one more lap in. Will 7A currently in 9th. And of course this man, Frank Gourlay, currently in 8th. Trying to improve on that. See what he can do. Still has he invalidated. So it looks like he's going to have to stick with his time. Just a little under minute 15. Fiscal's also invalidated. So that was quick. Easy in and out there. Trulson's going to have one more crack at moving up just a little bit, and really see Trulson playing an interesting game there as he really doesn't think to avoid much through the first couple of turns. That being said, Trulson's set a purple sector 1, so let's see if he continues to really play it close with these corners and maybe turn in a slightly faster time to sneak his way up to second or first place start. Currently only 9 thousandths, sorry I can't do math, 6 thousandths of a second behind KJ for starting in second. So certainly with a slightly better lap here, he might find himself slipping up into a P2 start. Let's see where he ends up. It's looking very good for him. And indeed he does. Managed to slip just ahead of KJ. So he'll start in P2, it looks like, as Greeny is doing one more hot lap. Not that he really need bother, as it doesn't look like there's too many drivers out here that will challenge him for his pole position. One man who might be able to do it, though, is this man right here, Vapor Trench, who hopefully has gotten his internet issues under control. We'll have to wait and see. As our qualifying time does end, so we're just waiting on a few drivers to finish up here. And here are those internet issues for Vapor Trench. It's going to be interesting to spectate on Vapor Trench today, that is for sure. There's a sense of purple sector too, though. Who needs internet, am I right? And Vapor Trench will head into the pits. That's going to be, I would imagine, very frustrating for him, as we do see Vapor Cobalt slip up into third now. So that'll definitely add a bit of intrigue. Look how close these lap times are, folks. I mean, very, very close here. Pretty much our top 12 drivers, all within about a second of each other. I mean, that's absurd. Very, very tight here in qualifying. Vichensky, Lesty, and of course Crunchy Tree is the only three drivers unable to break that minute and 15-second threshold. And it looks like we are ready to go here, as everyone is either readied up or is in the pits. And our crowd eagerly awaits the start of our 2021 Mexico City Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez race. I mean, look at these gaps. Really, the biggest gap, of course, between Greeny and everyone else. But then, I mean, wow. A few hundredths of a second there. About a tenth of a second there. A few thousandths of a second there. Very, very, very tight. And really, everyone down from Lesty the Twig all the way up to Trulson within a second of each other. Here in qualifying. All right, folks, so Greeny on the pole. Trulson will start in second, and Vapor Cobalt will start in third. So lots of work to do for Big Baguette, lots of work to do for Let's Get Fiscal. Of course, lots of work to do for our folks in the back. That's Crunchy Trees and Lesty. We'll just kind of have to see how this one goes. So the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez track is actually named for the brother racers Ricardo and Pedro Rodriguez. Both, unfortunately, met their untimely demise on the track. So this course, of course, named in their honor. Both extremely exciting racers in their own right, racing in a time when perhaps not the same safety measures as we now see here into the 21st century. All right, as our formation lap gets underway here. see most of our drivers opting for the soft tires. Lesty, of course, going with that hard strat, Wordcloud going with the medium strat, but everyone else here today on that soft composite as we watch Greeny lead us around the track in this formation lap. 36 laps on the docket today in Mexico City. 3 races to go in the Cup. Only time will tell who will come out victorious in this Season 8 Bette Jalle Cup. Looking for strong performances today from our top 5 drivers in the league standings. That's Big Baguette, Greeny, Vapor Cobalt, Let's Get Fiscal, and Vapor Trench. Certainly looking to see them accomplish big things today. Of course, also of note, Trulson, currently starting in P2, very comfortable on this track. Should be a lot of fun for him. He's just going to basically try to maybe take some much-needed points off those top 4 or 5 drivers. And he's going to go out there and run his best race. So our formation lap comes to an end. You see the drivers line up, ready to go here in Mexico City. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up as we get set to be underway. As we wait for the lights to come on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights on, and ladies and gentlemen, they are away in Mexico City. Bit of a straight here. Hopefully we won't see too much carnage before we get to our first turn momentarily here. Here we are. Let's see what these drivers do off of these first couple of turns. As we see already, that's... oh my goodness. Looks like KJ spun very hard off of that turn 1. We see Josh Smithness also having to recover, get back on the track. And it looks like those are the early casualties. Big Baguette losing out on a few spots as well. Vapor Trench losing out on a few spots, having to avoid the carnage. And we already have a safety car off of the first corner. Well, ladies and gentlemen, how many times have I said that this season? We will have a safety car here. As let's see what kind of damage we're seeing already. No damage for Trulson or Greeny. Vapor Cobalt looks relatively clean. Let's see, Will 7A. Looks like he's in good shape. Looks like Let's Get Fiscal's okay. A bit of damage maybe on Wordcloud. Looked like the right wing perhaps. A bit of damage there, so we might see Wordcloud head into the pits. Let's see about Vicensky. Any damage on that vehicle? It looks like Vicensky's clean. Justice looks good. Big Baguette looks good. Let's see if Lesty's got any damage. Lesty looks okay. We do see some early pits already. As we see Cobalt, Greeny, Trulson, Will 7A, Wordcloud, all pitting onto mediums with the exception of Trulson, who opts for the hard tires. And it looks like Josh Smithness will also have to take a look at his wing, as does KJ, putting on a new wing piece as well, as you can see. So our top 3 drivers will change just a little bit here. So we wait for our board to settle. It looks like Let's Get Fiscal is leading the way. Vicensky will start for now in second. Vapor Trench will move up to 3rd. Justice into 4th. Our top 5 drivers all staying on the soft tires, and Leslie the Twig, I think, who was the most excited to see the safety car early because he opted for those hards, moves all the way up into 6th. So definitely a good start for Lesty, as our former race leader Greeny drops down to 9th, having to pit as well, or opting to pit. I don't think he necessarily had to. Decides to go ahead and get off those soft tires. Maybe hoping to take those mediums as far as he can. perhaps going on to hards. I'm not exactly sure what the medium strat would be, to be honest with you. I think it's got to be mediums on the hards, unless they pit late for soft or maybe a second set of mediums. We will have to wait and see. As Justice picks up a 5-second penalty for collision with the Vapor Trench. Not entirely sure what happened there on the safety car. Perhaps another issue of Vapor Trench having some internet issues. So, in case you're just now joining us into turn 1, we immediately had a safety car as we saw KJ and Josh Smith both being sent into various walls, costing themselves out on extremely good positioning, especially for KJ, who I believe started in the top 3 or 4. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look here. So you see the position changes there. Yeah, KJ drops 11 spots, so he started up in P4. Meanwhile, Vichensky, the big winner, going up 11 spots. Nothing wrong with that for Vichensky. Yet Let's Get Physical, of course, moving up 8 positions. And Crunchy Trees, you know, not a bad start. Starting 15th, let's move you on up to 8th. As we head into what is hopefully our final lap of the safety car, we'll get back underway here. Yes, indeed, this will be the end of our safety car, so we'll see what kind of start Let's Get Fiscal gets that will hopefully take us into a slightly less eventful turn 1 in lap 4. All of our drivers bunched back up. Let's Get Fiscal will get us started here momentarily. You see the safety car there driving into the pits. Let's Get Fiscal is back off to the races. As we wait for these drivers to get to turn 1. Once again, hopefully a slightly smoother turn 1 here. And so far, so good. The first few drivers in and out, no problem. Back straight into turns 4, 5, and 6. So relatively clean. Let's Get Fiscal still leading this pack. Stretching out that lead to about 8/10 of a second over Vichensky. As we see Big Baguette get by Vapor Trench there. Excellent move from Big Baguette. Current fastest lap is going to be Let's Get Fiscal. Let's see if anyone else is still faster on this lap. Doesn't look like it. As we approach the ever dangerous turn 1 for the 5th time. Seems like with the drivers a little bit more spaced out, maybe a little less hectic into the first few turns there. So very close intervals. That being said, Let's Get Fiscal is stretching out a bit of a lead. So this is something we see Let's Get Fiscal do very often. He usually runs most of the race somewhere in the mid-pack before finishing usually in the top 3 or 4. See a spin out there. That was, who was that? That was Justice being sent into the wall. Hopefully no damage for him. It does look like, however, he did lose that left wing plate. And Josh Smith is retired from the race. Not exactly sure what happened there. I don't think he was part of that collision with Justice. But we will have a virtual safety car as we see all of our drivers slow down, meet that 40% of the Delta speed. So we wait for the yellows to lift here. And Big Baguette we see heading into the pits, maybe taking advantage of this virtual safety car. Big Baguette will come out probably all the way here at the bottom, might be able to slip out in front of Justice. However, Justice also heading into the pits to get that wing repaired. Still under this virtual safety car. Looks like it's going to lift here momentarily as Wachensky has managed to close the gap between himself and Let's Get Fiscal here under this virtual safety car. And Will 7A picking up a 5-second penalty there. Looks like we are back off to the races as Let's Get Fiscal really takes off, getting a solid bit of gap from himself and Wachensky. Big Baguette opting onto the mediums now. Let's see when these front three drivers on those soft tires opt to head into the pits. Not here, it seems. At least one more lap out of most of these fellows. Leslie the Twig on those hards, doing excellent work as well. Let's take a look back at Trulson on the back of the Greenie. Greenie also looking to pass by Crunchy Trees and Gourlay. As we see Gourlay and Crunchy Trees really battling out for that 5th spot. Currently Gourlay getting the better of Crunchy Trees. We'll have to see if that remains the same. Crunchy Trees closing off the window there for Greenie to get on by. As we see Trulson pick up a 3-second time penalty. Quite the train back here, and now we see Worry Cloud jumping up into it as well. It looks like he's going to be able to, or sorry, Will 7A I should say, joining as well, getting by Trulson. Trulson may be having a little bit of a difficult time keeping pace on those hard tires. Bonk there for Will 7A. By Trulson managing to get on the inside. We'll see if they can get by. A little bit more tire touching there as Will lucky not to be spun out. Very tight driving here. As Let's Get Fiscal also passes his own best lap time. We see Trulson heading into the pits. Cobalt still on the back of Gourlay and Greenie. Gourlay looking to chase down Greenie here. See Greenie taking that turn very, very tightly. Just shows the impressive pace he manages to get. Ooh, Gourlay loses it just a little bit, and that'll allow Vapor Cobalt to slip by Gourlay right about the same time that Greenie manages to slip by Crunchy Trees. And now Greenie will get to work on Leslie the Twig. After that early pit onto those medium tires, looks like it's paying dividends for Greenie, who's just is showing off an impressive pace as he marks down these drivers one after the other. And it looks like if Greenie can get this pass down on Leslie the Twig, with those relatively fresh medium tires, he should lead the race through a strong bit of the middle portion of this race once our top 3 drivers opt to stop for a change of tires. This might be where Greenie takes the shot at Leslie the Twig. Leslie able to maintain good enough pace on this home straight, but not good enough for Greenie, who opts for the outside pass. And it looks like he'll get by Leslie the Twig no problem, as he's running free now, just 6.5 seconds behind our 3rd place driver, that's Vapor Trench. Wachensky still about a second plus back of our leader, Let's Get Fiscal. Let's take a look back at Vapor Cobalt looking to chase down Crunchy Trees on those 6-lap-old mediums. He also pitted along with Greenie after that first lap kerfuffle. Crunchy Trees spin the tires just a little bit there coming out of the turn. That short DRS zone too, Vapor Cobalt unable to shave off any time of Crunchy Trees. Crunchy Trees also having difficulty getting by Lessie the Twig. Should have slightly better pace on those soft tires, should Crunchy Trees. That being said, they're probably nearing the end of their life at 9 laps now. As I'm sure our Let's Get Fiskals and Pachensky will probably see a pit stop into this next lap from those drivers. Meanwhile, Crunchy will battle to get by Leslie the Twig. They do bump tires. Crunchy Tree is very lucky to control that slide. It does slow him down enough, though. The Vapor Trench is going to be looking for blood here. Drivers all driving very, very closely to each other. Not exactly sure when or if Crunchy Trees and Vapor Cobalt are going to be able to get by our man Leslie the Twig here. Chensky's managed to get that gap down to just over a second now for Let's Get Fiscal. And Greeny manages to chase down Vapor Trench, who's into the pits. So Greeny moves up to P3. And it looks like Let's Get Fiscal and Chensky opt to stay out one more lap on those increasingly old soft tires. You also see Crunchy Trees off of this train as he opts to pit as well. Let's Get Fiskal's got to really be feeling the wear of his tires here. Now 10 laps old. Just seeing how far he can push them before heading into the pits. Might opt for the hards to finish out the race. Not exactly sure if he'll be able to get the full 25-ish laps out of them. But might push onto the hards to see if he gets a safety car late onto the softs. Very, very interesting indeed. As we do finally see Let's Get Fiscal and Pachensky pit, so that'll make Greeny our new race leader with Leslie the Twig more than likely moving up to P2, assuming Vapor Cobalt doesn't get the pass done before passing the pit row here. And indeed, Leslie the Twig does manage to hold on to the lead, at least for now. We have a new race leader in Greeny, should lead for a good long while as we see Vapor Cobalt looking to get by on the inside of Leslie the Twig. They do maybe momentarily touch tires. Leslie the Twig able to hold off through those 3 turns. Vapor Cobalt, who manages to get the outside move done here. Hopefully we see no contact from these 2 drivers, as we do see Lesty bump into the back of Vapor Cobalt. Vapor Cobalt able to get back on the track, no problem. Now Vapor Cobalt certainly has his hands full trying to chase down Greeny CFC. And Greeny's doing what we've seen him do so many times, just absolutely running away with this race. Still plenty of time for something to happen, but certainly Greeny is showing off why he's managed to win 7 times now coming into this race. Down to Big Baguette, who looks like he's about to get a pass done on Worried Cloud. In fact, before I can even switch to him, he manages to get that pass done, moving up to P5. Good work from Big Baguette. Definitely still plenty to do if he wants to hold on to his lead in the Cup standings. As Justice picks up another penalty there. Up on board with Will 7A, looking to also chase down the hard-tired Lesty the Twig, as we see Lesty go a little wide there. That'll definitely cost him a little bit of time. Going back to our former race leaders, Lesky Fiscal and Pachensky, both opting for the medium tires, as does Vapor Trench, who pitted one lap earlier. See if Let's Get Fiscal can get back in this as he's looking to chase down KJ. Switch over to that competition here in just a moment to see if Will 7A can get this pass done here. Doesn't look like it. Let's hop over with Let's Get Fiscal as he comes out of turn 3. We just saw KJ go a little wide out of turn 3, maybe overcorrected coming out of turn 3, so Let's Get Fiscal moves by KJ, no problem, and he gets to work on Worry Cloud now. Meanwhile, we see Will 7A only a few tenths of a second behind Lesty the Twig, with Big Baguette breathing down their necks, slowly but surely catching up to these two. Will join this competition for third here momentarily, I would imagine. Looks like Will 7A should be able to get the pass done here. Let's see, as we see, once again, Lesty the Twig in another battle for his life, touching tires yet again. And that's a very nice driving from Will 7A to allow Lesty the Twig his room, his space without the contact. Big Baguette does now join this train, as does Worry Cloud. And we'll have to see what kind of passes get done in this home straight. Very, very long straight it is. See speeds up of 230 miles an hour as both Big Baguette and Will 7A manage to get by Lesty the Twig and then immediately meet and touch tires. Let's see who will get the better of this. So it looks like Big Baguette will earn the DRS here, and that should get him by Will 7A. And Word Cloud also managing to get by Lesty the Twig. Still quite the battle there as Let's Get Fiscal joins in now. As Word Cloud seemingly having some sort of issue, he drops a few positions. Meanwhile, Let's Get Fiscal has caught up to Lesty the Twig as Big Baguette and Will 7A both take off to hunt down Vapor Cobalt. Vapor Cobalt currently about 9 seconds back of Greeny. Gonna have to do something to change that. Otherwise, Greeny is liable to run away with this thing yet again. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but Greeny's our race leader. Vapor Cobalt in second. Big Baguette rounds out our top 3. I mean, how many races have I made that exact same call in some such order? Those 3 guys always seem to be right there competing. See, Let's Get Fiscal managed to swing by Lesty the Twig. Lesty the Twig maybe tapping a little bit of the brake, perhaps the team order is there as Let's Get Fiscal gets through. And Let's Get Fiscal looking to chase down Will 7A now. Fiscal having 3 laps on the medium tires and Greeny having 14 laps, but ahead by around 15 seconds or so of Let's Get Fiscal. It's going to be very close. They both are going to need to make at least one more pit stop but Fiscal might be able to offer the softs on this next pit stop, whereas Greeny will probably have to put on a second pair of mediums, assuming he can. I'm not entirely sure how the rules work out as far as multiple tires go. I know you need a second set of tires. Not sure if the one lap of softs that Greeny turned in at the beginning of the race will count towards the different tire type. As we just moments ago saw Wheel 7A head into the pits, that allows Let's Get Fiscal to slip up into P4, doing his best to chase down Big Baguette, as Vapor Cobalt has now fallen about 10 seconds behind of Greeny. Just no hope in catching this man when he's flying out in the open. But our top four drivers echo our top four drivers in the standings. So these guys showing why they are able to compete for the Cup here in Mexico. Certainly showing off the tremendous pace that they've exhibited all season long here in the 20th race of the Bette Jalle season. Just have to wait and see when Greeny and Vapor Cobalt both opt to head into the pits. These top four drivers all without penalties, you can see. Most of our other drivers have picked up a penalty in some form or fashion, as we see Gourlay also picking up a 3-second time penalty. Hop all the way back with Worry Cloud, trying to catch up to Wheel 7A, both of these drivers with those fresh tires. And nice move there from Worry Cloud as he kind of feints the inside move and quickly swings it out to the outside, managing to keep traction on those fresh hard tires. Truly excellent driving there from Worry Cloud. And then as soon as I say that, I must have jinxed some fishtails just a little bit, but nice work from him to keep it on the track, keep it clean. We see a yellow flag there. That's Wheel 7A, who seems to have spun, pulling a Mazepin impression. Not entirely sure how to pronounce that man's name. Perhaps Wheel 7A also has wealthy folks able to keep him on the track. So I'm not entirely sure what he's doing here. That'll definitely be a penalty, as he's just corner cutting left and right, as he'll intentionally drive into the wall to finish his race. You hate to see that. A safety car intentionally caused by Wheel 7A. Oof, that is poor sportsmanship at its finest, folks. That is truly gratuitous, and I'm hoping the league can take some sort of action on that. Wheel 7A lets the frustration get to him as he spins out and then drives full speed into a wall, causing a safety car when up to this point Greeny had driven a flawless race, and that might cost him. That is infuriating, to say the least. Wow. Definitely not what you want to see. We'll have to take a look at that later on. That's got to be just tremendously frustrating for Greeny, who's really running away with this thing. So as we get back underway with the safety car, the grouping will kind of lock back up as everyone gets on the fresher tires. I mean, if that's the one bright side, I suppose, of the safety car for Greeny, it's that everyone kind of gets back onto the same level of tire. You know, he was a maybe about 10 laps or so ahead of Let's Get Fiscal as far as tire wear goes, but was absolutely running away with the race before the intentional pound into the wall. Wait for this race to get back underway after an extremely horrible example of sportsmanship there from Will 7A. That collision, perhaps suggesting that he no longer wishes to race under the Bette Jalle banner. There's certainly no place for that in this league. Anyway, back to the race at hand as we see everyone grouping back up, everyone for the most part on those fresh tires that should take them through the rest of this race. Like I said, that is the one silver lining, I should say, with Let's Get Fiscal, or I should say Greeny, in that he's shown that in a straight sprint, he can certainly run away with this thing. Big Baguette taking a bit of a risk going onto the hards, so certainly won't have to worry about a blowout or something on 15-lap-old mediums, but on the harder composite, he may find it difficult to keep pace. Our top 5 drivers, echoing our top 5 drivers in the standings, so certainly a chance for those 5 gentlemen to show off how and why they've made it this far. As we wait to find out an exciting conclusion here, as all of our drivers, for the most part, will be finishing the race on their current tires, as Greeny doing his best to hold off Vapor Cobalt, and Big Baguette trying to get the best possible start that he can, coming around the final turn 17, as he'll take off here, and we are back away. Does a good job feinting, at the very least Big Baguette. Vapor Cobalt not so fooled, still right on Greeny's back, only about 0.3 of a second behind. Let's Get Fiscal also with an excellent restart. He'll also compete in there, and off the restart we see a little bit of movement at the back of the pack as well. And this is a chance for Greeny to really show off his ability to just absolutely take off from the pack. Let's see if Cobalt can keep pace with the very speedy Greeny. And Vapor Cobalt picks up a 3-second time penalty that could prove costly when it comes to our final standings. That being said, he is managing to put a little bit of space between himself and Big Baguette, but that 3 seconds, might really cost him here through the last 13 or 14 laps. Trench looking to slip by Let's Get Fiscal here, as they're very, very close to each other. And he does manage to get the pass done on Fiscal. He goes wide, comes back out onto the track, somehow ahead of Vapor Trench. Meanwhile, Leslie the Twig, look at this man, jumping up the outside of the track, moving all the way up to P4, getting a double pass done on Let's Get Fiscal and Vapor Trench. Comes absolutely flying, showing why he's The second man up for Renault, certainly showing off the skills there. Meanwhile, Greeny already over a second lead on Vapor Cobalt. Big Baguette also having to do some work on those hard tires. Vapor Trench, along with Leslie, do have some penalties here. So Let's Get Fiscal, definitely don't count him out from having a shot at the podium. He's certainly going to have to do some work here to earn it. Frenchy Trees picking up a 3-second time penalty. Picking up a 3-second time penalty. That can make things rather interesting, especially if Big Baguette can get into the mix here. He's without penalties for Lay picking up a 3-second time penalty. But if Big Baguette can keep pace on these two drivers in front, he may have a legitimate shot at moving up to possibly a P2 or even a P1 finish, depending on how Greeny finishes this race out. With the way things are going and the way Greeny's form of late, I don't think he'll have any trouble covering for that 3-second penalty. But we'll certainly have to wait and see as we see Vapor Trench getting a pass done on Leslie the Twig, able to move back up into P4. Meanwhile, Big Baguette on those hards at about 1.4 seconds or so. And Vapor Trench able to get a pass done on Big Baguette. Looks like he wants a piece of his similarly named pal, Vapor Cobalt. Let's Get Fiscal looking to get by Leslie the Twig here. These Renault teammates looking to earn some more points and move up in the standings of the team standings. Both looking like they'll earn some good points here. Justice picking up a 3-second time penalty. I believe that's his third, maybe fourth penalty. Vapor Trench showing that impressive pace. Minute and 17 seconds. That's good for currently the track record today. As very closely grouped together are drivers 3, 4, 5, and 6. Leslie still possibly taking a peek in at Big Baguette, seeing if he can pass the man who opted for the hards coming into the last 15 laps or so of the race. So the one thing, as we see, Leslie loses concentration, lucky not to be into the wall there. Let's Get Fiscal managed to slip by his teammate. The one thing that we still have to keep in mind is if Greeny's soft tire that he only had on for one lap will count as a tire choice. You know, I got an edge on it being okay. But I don't actually know for sure. If somebody is down in the chat can let me know what are the rules on tire change. Is it just at any point, or is it after the 3 laps that come into play with your mandated pit stop? Because Greeny has been on medium tires for the duration of this race, save that first lap where he immediately went into the pits after the early safety car. My good friend Danny in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Happy to have you along for the last 10 laps or so of this race. Certainly a lot of intrigue here, as we've seen a couple of drivers unable to finish. Josh Smith and Will 7A. Currently, it looks like Greeny's going to be able to run away with this thing. He's just got to keep it clean. Has picked up a 3-second time penalty, but Vapor Trench doing his best to track down Vapor Cobalt, as Vapor Trench there picks up another 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Meanwhile, only two clean drivers up here in the top 5 are Big Baguette and Let's Get Fiscal, as we also see KJ picking up a 3-second time penalty, as he's arrived to the back of Leslie the Twig's car there. Yeah, Josh Smith is a lot of fun to watch, that is for sure. Kind of a shame to have him go out early. I believe he's spectating the race as well. Saw him go out after the first few laps, I think right as the safety car came off. Oh, it's looking pretty good there, Miss Fleming. Always a pleasure to have you along for these races. Your boy Big Baguette, currently in 4th, but all 3 drivers in front do have penalties that may come into play, especially Vapor Trench with 6 seconds of penalties. Definitely we'll have to keep an eye on that. We should theoretically see Baguette with a podium chance, as long as he can keep it clean and keep it on the track. As Vapor Trench continues his work on Vapor Cobalt, we'll get the pass done here. Relay picking up another 3-second penalty. So Vapor Trench showing off impressive pace. Has earned himself a couple of penalties, but he'll see if he can close the distance between himself and Greeny with 7 laps to do it, so definitely time. Let's Get Fiscal has arrived on to the back of Big Baguette. I've heard the best place to be is in front of a Big Baguette, but Let's Get Fiscal taking the unique approach to be behind one instead. I suppose when it comes to handling Big Baguettes, I will defer to Let's Get Fiscal's expertise on the matter. KJ doing his best to swing by Leslie the Twig, who honestly has had himself a really fine race. Definitely nothing to be too upset about. Leslie on those 8-lap-old mediums. We'll have to kind of see 9-lap-old mediums, I should say. We'll have to see how they hold up along with all of our other drivers here at the top. Greeny's still running free and clear. Vapor Cobalt has shaved off a few tenths of a second. As we enter into our final 6 laps of the race, certainly still a very close race amongst our top 5 drivers. You know, one mistake from really anyone could be the difference here, as we see KJ picking up a 3-second time penalty. Have to see if Big Baguette and Let's Get Fiscal can keep it clean. Might behoove them. At the very least, we might see Big Baguette pass by Vapor Cobalt. maybe even Vapor Trench with the 6 seconds of penalties. Penalties are certainly going to come in into a big way in the ending of this race. Also, you know, a point of contention is how are these mediums going to hold up? As we get into the last few laps here, they'll all be 14, 15 laps old. You know, relatively short track here in Mexico City, so it should be okay, but always the chance that one of these guys just gets unlucky and finds himself with a puncture situation in the final lap or so. Cloud picking up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, Let's Get Physical continues to shave off precious tenths of a second on Big Baguette. He's gonna have to do his best to get by this man if he wants a shot at a podium. There is the chance, with Vapor Trench being still under 6 seconds ahead, that we could see a Big Baguette second and a Let's Get Physical third. But it's gonna be really close, guys. I really don't want to speak out of turn here, and of course with 5 laps to go, you know, definitely time for some outside force to intervene. Just going to really depend on how these drivers do and how close they can keep it to those in front. Vapor Trench managing to get that interval down under 5 seconds for the first time in a good long while. We just saw Gourlay pick up another penalty as well down there at the back of the track. As KJ looking to get by Trulson. And we see that pass done, no problem there. So we can hang on to it into these turn sections. He will. A little bit disappointed with Trulson today. I was really expecting him to compete into the top 5 as Justice leaves the session right after setting the fastest lap time at 1 minute and 12 seconds. I mean, geez, that's an insane lap time here in Mexico. Crunchy Trees picking up a 3-second time penalty. You know, Vapor Trench very well might be able to get a solid enough differential between himself and Vapor Cobalt that he just may be able to secure himself a podium even with the 6 seconds of penalties. Let's Get Physical also having fallen back just a little bit of Big Baguette. It's going to definitely be interesting here at the end. Vapor Trench cannot afford another penalty. I don't think he's going to catch Greeny, so at this point he's just got to be very careful to not get another penalty and to keep that interval about where it is, and he should be able to still finish in the top 3 for a podium. As Big Baguette finally able to get this pass done on Vapor Cobalt, he'll do his best to see how close he can keep it to Vapor Trench to possibly move out in front. Three laps to go here in Mexico City. All eyes on this man to see if he can hold on to a podium spot here in Mexico City as we momentarily should enter the penultimate lap of this race. As Greeny's the first to cross that start-finish line, we are into our penultimate lap. Just 2 laps to go here in Mexico City. Still a lot remaining to be seen. Can Big Baguette keep that interval within 6 seconds, having run a clean race, and earn himself that second place finish? Can Vapor Trench expand on that lead about a full second here in the next 2 laps to hang on to P2? It looks like Greeny, with only 3 seconds of penalties, will have no problem finishing this race in first. Will all these folks' tires hold up? Big Baguette opting for the hard tires. Definitely an interesting choice, but it seems like it's really paying off as he's going to come across the finish line here with a top 3 finish. Ooh, and Vapor Cobalt picks up another 3-second time penalty, all but ensuring that Let's Get Fiscal will get the finish in front of Vapor Cobalt, moving up to P4. Certainly not the finish he wanted. I'm sure he was hoping for a top 3, but still a solid result from Let's Get Fiscal, assuming that the tires hold up through this last lap. Definitely some potential gas issues from Vapor Trench. That could play into this quite a bit, as he's already blinking on the gas indicator, as is Let's Get Fiscal, early on in this race. We'll have to see if he's got enough gas to finish it. Greeny, meanwhile, absolutely cruising. No issues with the tires that we can see. Having no gas issues whatsoever. Big Baguette maybe losing just a little bit of time on Vapor Trench. And we come across our final sector here with Greeny well out in front. And it looks like Vapor Trench will have the gas needed to get across the line. Certainly going to be close as we see Greeny finish in P1 for his 8th win of the season. Wow. Vapor Trench finishes in P2 for now. I believe Big Baguette should pass him on penalties. Indeed he does. Let's Get Fiscal will come across the line in P4. Oh, he moves up to P3 also on penalties. Wow. Vapor Trench must have accrued a lot more penalties than I thought, as he not only concedes P3 to Let's Get Fiscal, but does by almost 6 seconds. Vapor Cobalt comes across in 5th, Leslie the Twig in 6th. Excellent race for Leslie the Twig. KJ in 7th, Chensky 8th, Trulson 9th, Crunchy Trees 10th, Worried Cloud 11th, Gourlay 12th, and Justice will finish in 13th. A lot of fun here, guys, in Mexico City. Certainly interesting. Stay tuned if you'd like to hear from our top 3 finishers, assuming we can get them here in the party. Certainly an excellent finish. Fiscal sucks. Coming across the chat now from Danny. Maybe a bit of jealousy, perhaps? Who knows? But the Moonhead does finish in 3rd, earning the podium, managing to keep his nose clean, not accrue penalties, and that was the way it went for Fiscal and Baguette, both managing to stay out of trouble with penalties, both finishing 3rd and 2nd respectively, with your race winner, Greeny. Got to give my driver of the day nod to Leslie the Twig. Excellent job from him, moving up, 8 positions? Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. As we look at the penalties, I did miss a penalty there. Vapor Trench having 9 seconds of penalties. Alright, well, let's see if I can get this party underway. 21 seconds penalties from Gourlay. Oof, not a good race for Gourlay. Alright, folks, let me get these drivers in, see if they would like to do a little talky-talk. And as we wait for these gentlemen to join, I'd like to just say thank you so much for joining us here on this Friday evening for a wonderful race in Mexico City. And I see that we have Let's Get Fiscal here in the chat, our third place finisher today. Once again, just showing why you don't have to always turn in the best pace, but if you manage to keep it clean, I mean, sometimes that's all it takes. Fiscal, tell me a little bit about your race today. What was the strategy, especially coming out of that second safety car?
Yeah, it was a decent result. Obviously, quali wasn't fantastic. I think that was a P10 start or something like that. So I was stuck on the softs. And Mexico has never really been a strong track for myself. But I took the decision not to pit on the first safety car, which I think was probably the right decision, just about. I think it was just a little bit too early. And then on the restart, I managed to get a good little gap to everyone else. I think Matt, my teammate, did a stellar job of holding people up. Fairly, of course.
So was that team orders, or was that just something that happened to kind of work out that way?
The greenies, the cobalts, the baguettes of this world to pit at a decent time as well. So then it was just a sprint for the end, and then obviously I knew that the guys ahead, except Greenie, because he's fast AF, had pens, so I just knew if I kept it clean, kept it on the track, and kept it consistent, I'd be in with a shot. I think I had 2 warnings towards the end, so I definitely backed off in the last few laps just to make sure I didn't get a 3-second pen. And then came on with the P3, so happy days.
Yeah, well done, Fiscal. As always, excellent talking to you, and congratulations. Real quick before I let you go, quick question in the chat from you. Oh, I see. But apparently, folks missed a little bit of this as I was adding folks to the party, so sorry about for any of the interview you missed. But quick question in the chat for you, Fiscal. This one's from Danny Nicholson. How do you get a helmet that fits your massive head?
It's bespoke made. Yeah, I searched long and hard, and I eventually found someone who did my size. So that was a happy day when I found that.
I'm sure that was a big day for everyone in the Let's Get Fiscal family. Congratulations once again on the P3 finish. On to our P2 finisher. That's you know his name well by now. One Big Baguette. Congratulations first and foremost on the P2 result. I'm curious also on what your feelings were coming out of that second safety car. What was the strategy you had in mind finishing out the race?
Thank you very much. I picked a softer like set of tires for the race. So yeah, when that second safety car came, I literally could only go onto softs or hard tires, and the softs definitely would not have made it to the end. So I just had to go onto the hard tire and just sort of pray that my pace was enough to sort of keep up with the medium runners sort of at the front. But yeah, the race was kind of like, it was a bit average, but you know, not really too much to comment on it, to be fair. Just tried to keep it clean.
I think it says a lot about you, Big Baguette, that an average race for you is just a P2 finish, no big deal. Especially having to finish it out on those hard tires, which, you know, I was obviously questioning in the stream, but that makes a lot of sense that you just didn't have the option, like some of the other drivers, to go on the mediums. So excellent work from you to stay on those hards. You know, one of your longest time fans in this season, Raven Fleming, is in the video right now. Anything you want to say to Raven Fleming?
To Raven, Fleming, and all my other big fans out there, just, you know, thank you for rooting for me, and I hope you keep standing behind me and cheering me on. So thank you very much.
Well, excellent finish for you here, Big Baguette. It seems like it's really going to be a battle to the end as we have 2 races left between yourself and Greeny, and of course Vapor Cobalt would like something to say about it as well. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for chatting with me, Big Baguette. Always a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you.
And our race winner today, Greeny CFC. How's it hanging, man? How you feeling? Oh, have we lost Greeny?
He's muted.
Ah.
Oh wait, oh there we go. Sorry, I had my mic muted.
It's all right, friend.
Yeah, it's just the same. Getting a bit boring now, winning every race.
Yeah, I was looking over the chart before we started, and I noticed that this is your 8th win on the season. 20 races down, 8 wins. I mean, how do you just keep up that consistency?
I mean, to be fair, I'm probably the least consistent one out of everyone.
Yeah,
I
was also
finished first or a DNF.
Yeah, I was looking at that. How many DNFs do you think you have this season?
Like 8.
7 DNFs this season, 8 wins. Coming into this race, you were 50-50 on DNFs and wins. It seems like it's kind of one or the other. So maybe I should rephrase my question. How do you maintain the consistency of either a first place finish or a DNF?
I mean, to be fair, I kind of just push really hard, and I can't be an average driver like Baguette and go nice and slow.
I love it. I love the trash talk here in post-race.
Getting in his head.
You have to, especially here with only 2 races to go. It's definitely going to be a fight. You really can't afford to DNF through these last 2 races, so gotta come up with a new plan to keep it on the track. That's the last thing that you could really afford here in these last 2 races. So Greeny, real quick, your thoughts on that second safety car? Did the timing work out for you? Were you frustrated since you were building up that solid?
It couldn't have gone any better, to be fair. Like, I was gonna pit lap 18. Well, no, the game was telling me to pit lap 18, but then I was like, oh, I'll stay out another lap. And then the lap after it was a safety car. And then happy days.
Doesn't really matter when you're that fast, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem to, does it? Well, gentlemen, I got to say thank you so much for staying on and having a little chat with me. I wish you all the best of luck on Sunday. Unfortunately, I will not be here to stream it, but for our finale of Season 8 Bette Jalle Racing, I'll be here to bring all of the drama live, and I very much look forward to it and wish all 3 of you gentlemen the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Cheers, geezer.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
So long, folks.